I'm Ida.
I'm Dwayne.
And this is the story of our home. I wasn't afraid to leave my family because if you recall from stories that I've shared with you, I left home at 17 going into the Army. It was literally one day after high school. I went to basic training in Fort Dix, New Jersey, and then AIT at Fort Lee, Virginia, and then from Fort Lee, Virginia, I went to Germany for 2 years. So I was used to being away from my family.
But we were already away from our families anyway because we were living in Little Rock for about 3 years. Biggest deal was just the difference in the distance.
Traveling from going back and forth. When we first moved here, we didn't move into this house. When we first moved here, we actually moved into Ravens Crest condominiums.
2311 Ravens Crest.
So specific. We had moved originally from Memphis to Little Rock and from Little Rock to New Jersey. And the most critical aspect of it for me was I was leaving my sisters and having no family here. But also it was a bit of culture shock. Not so much for the actual culture, but for the fact that the property taxes were so high, so very high, especially when we think about what we were paying when we were living in Memphis. It feels like home because we've been here now for so long. And so when I think about what home really is, now when I think of home, I think of New Jersey. It's really like that old adage, home is where the heart is. And since I have my nucleus family, you know, Dwayne and you and the kids, the other kids.
Family is attachment. It's like the center. Family is like the thing that kind of holds you in place and what makes you feel that you belong. As far as what we would like for you guys to have too, have that feeling of belonging. A lot of times the cousins and things like that were almost like our brothers and sisters. They were so close and we saw them so much.
Family is everything to me. And I think for Dwayne and me especially, because we don't have extended family here, we spend a lot of time with each other and we spent a lot of time with you all. But for us, to Dwayne's point, family was centering for us and is foundational to everything that we do. Church, family, faith, those are things that have always kept me grounded. And so when I think about family, I think about how much I love my immediate nuclear family, but also how much I love my siblings and how when we're together, it's almost like we become children again. When you get all the sisters together, we laugh and we act silly and we just do what siblings do. And so it doesn't matter what age you are. So when you think about family, to me, family is like a place where you can just be authentically who you are without risk or fear of judgment. You can just be. I want to pass on the legacy of love that my mother and my father, but especially my mother had a way of mothering 7 children and having us all be individuals and loved us in the way that we needed to be loved. And while she loved us all collectively, she still loved us individually to recognize that we each had different needs. Her desire had always been, because we grew up on a farm, was for us to all go directly into college. And I wanted to do something different. And so when I said to her that I wanted to go into the Army, she made me promise that as soon as I got out of the Army, I would go directly into college, because education was a legacy that she wanted to make sure was passed on to each one of us, to understand that if you didn't want to work on a farm and do all the things that we claim we hated about being on a farm, there were things we loved, but there were also the things that we didn't like. I didn't like picking cotton. I didn't like chopping cotton. I didn't like being in the hot sun. I didn't like any of that stuff. And so when I talked about going into the Army, she reminded me that college was one way to make sure that I could have the kind of life that I wanted and the kind of life that I would want my children to have. And so when I think about the faith that she had to have to get us all through college, but all of us went to college and most of us have advanced degrees. That is a legacy of what my mother passed on to us. And so when I say a legacy of faith, it's a legacy of faith, it's a legacy of love, because she did that in spite of many, many odds. I'm just grateful for the opportunity that we had to experience the life that we did growing up on a farm and what happened afterwards in terms of building a life and building a career with a family.
Okay, well, I love you both, so now say it back.
We love, 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 and adore you.
We love you
Thank
so much.
Mommy, I love you. Thank you.